Introduction to AI Ethics and Bias, AI in Healthcare Bias and Ethics, AI in Education Bias and Ethics, Common Ethical Principles, Governance and Regulations, Future Challenges, and he will also be available for questions and answers after that. So we welcome you, sir, and we I request you to start with the session, please. So you are on mute, please.
Thank you, ma'am. First
Yes,
of all,
sir.
I would like to thank the organizers of this ATAL FDP program for inviting me on this session to deliver a talk on AI in action, transforming healthcare and education. So once ma'am approached me back in, I think, 1.5, 2 months back, I just straight away said that based on which the interaction we had it during our conference, I straight away said that there is no second thought in my mind, and I agreed for the presenting my experience or sharing my experience. So keeping that in mind, I just share my screen. Uh, Let me know, guys, if you're able to see my screen. Let me know once you're able to see my screen. Hello, am I
Yes, sir.
audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir,
Is
you
my
are
screen
audible.
visible? Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir,
Yes,
it
sir.
is visible.
Okay, thank you. I can understand this. The audience are from various backgrounds, where they are also from AI. They are all from pure science, computer science, and also from IT background. So just that's why I don't want to touch upon like completely into mathematical foundation of AI and other algorithms, but instead I would like to touch upon what are all the basic principles and what are all the major concepts behind the ethics bias and AI in the field of healthcare and education systems, specific to what we are going to speak about. And I would like to also please be interactive, either through in Teams message or through unmuting yourself and interact with me as and when I can face or I can put some couple of questions during my interactions. So please be interactive. So that's only one request from my side. I don't want to be only one way of delivering the content, because if I want to be one way of delivering the content, definitely I could have used a much more sophisticated AI tools where I can record myself and I could have played myself in this talk, right? I don't want that to be happened, right? In future, that might also will happen, right? That might also will possible where I can a person a specialized AI expert can also record himself, and he can also put his recordings during the online versions of this such kind of FTP. Okay, I don't want that to happen. So with this background, I just wanted to show the outline of the presentation. The outline of presentation includes three different phases, and in the first phase, we'll cover with the introduction to AI and introduction to AI ethics and bias, and it will be with 35 to 45 minutes. And in the second phase of the session or lecture, we'll cover AI in healthcare and AI in education, where it specifically speaks about bias and ethics of respective topics. And in the third and final phase is very minimal with 10 to 20 minutes of time. It's common ethical principles, governance, regulations, future challenges, summary, reflection, and QS. I hope this is clear with the outline of the presentation. So with this background, let me let touch upon the which is very much trending nowadays of AI. So everyone are aware of this, right? Hello, which is most trending nowadays. This kind of images. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Basically, this is a kind of a image. Yeah, there's a kind of an image. Yes, this is a kind of an image generated using a Gemini tool, AI tool. And also I'll get you the prompt to generate this. You please try it with yourself. Okay, there's no chat bot here. Chat box, no chat box. Ma'am, no chat box here. It's not enabled, I think. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is there any
A
chat?
chatbot.
How can I share the chat here? If I want to share some
Yes, you
content
can,
here.
sir.
Where? I'm not able to see the chat actually.
Yeah, wait. I'll check.
Okay, and no worries. What I can say is you just open Gemini.
Sir,
Okay. Yeah.
sir, please share your mail ID. So we'll make this setting accordingly.
Okay, no worries. What I can
Yeah.
say is you open this Gemini with your Google account and use upload your image. Okay. Upload your image. Before uploading your image, you select the model, select the AI model labeled as Flash 2.5 or banana. Okay. It's basically generated, developed by Google. So I'll be pasting it in the WhatsApp. Okay, you just share it across the team, please. Excuse me. I just typed it in your chat WhatsApp, ma'am. You just share it with the team participants. Is my screen visible now?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Yeah, I just uploaded my half of the face of the image, and it could able to generate complete full face of the image, and also it could able to generate the entire content of the image. It is using basically the Flash 2.5 image generation model, and you can see the accuracy of the content which is it's getting, and it is being nowadays it is being trending towards, and people are talking about Adobe Photoshop versus the banana nano technology, where they are going to generate or replace this kind of Adobe Photoshop. Okay, I am not sure about how accurate the model is, but basically the people who are using it as an end user, so it's totally much trending. And let's see why I bring this yeah, like as an example in subsequent slides. Okay. So basically, I just wanted to reinforce or like refresh your memory by giving the definitions of the AI. AI basically is an automated way of solutioning the problem using suitable tools. As I speak, AI is an automated way of solutioning the problem using suitable tools. AI also can have a sub component called as a machine learning, where it's a subset of AI. An automated way, it's an automated way of solutioning the problem using statistical or discriminatory models. In turn, inside ML, we have also another like approach called as a deep learning, where it's also a subset of AI and ML, an automated way of solutioning the problem using artificial deep neural network based models. So these were the initial days where these are the three different components, these are the three different layers of AI. And nowadays, since last 6 to 7 years, there's another layer which has been introduced called as a Gen AI. It's acronym for generative AI, and it's a subset of AI, ML, and also deep learning. Basically, it is an automated way of solutioning the problem using Gen AI neural network based model. So these are all the different layers of AI. And before getting into the next subsequent slides, like let's understand like difference between AI and human intelligence. So to understand the difference between AI, artificial intelligence, and human intelligence, let's first understand what is human intelligence all about. So human intelligence basically has four different components, and the brain is a major component which includes for an intelligence is the brain. That's major component of an human, and it contains four different subsequent components called as eye, tongue, ear, nose. Eye for a vision, tongue for a taste, ear for a sound, and nose for a smell. So these are the four different sensory organs where will be handled by the brain as a major component. Similar to these components, we would also like to understand how the human is going to identify a different objects. Okay, it can be identified either through identifying the visual cues of a given object which he is going to see, which he or she is going to see, and he or she has to memorize it, and he will be keeping it into his knowledge base. Knowledge base means memory. And it's also another way where one can see the visual cues and understand what it is and analyze it, and you can store those analysis in the brain or in the knowledge base. So there is a two way of understanding or identifying any object for that matter. One is either memorizing, other one is understanding the things and analyzing it and storing it in the memory. So this process is what we called as a learning phase. Okay. And there's another phase called as relearning phase, where you are going to make use of 1 minute. I will use the pointer here. So where you are going to make use of the knowledge base when unknown entity came, and with the help of visual cues, you use your earlier previous knowledge used during training or learning, and you will be able to give a decision. So the decision for this unknown entity is collection of badminton posters, and this process is what we call it as a relearning or a recognition. This process is called as a cognition, and this process is what we call it as a recognition. Okay, this is how the human intelligence works, and let's similarly see how like artificial intelligence works. Similarly, artificial intelligence also has got a brain, and instead of sensory organs, here we have machine sensors. And instead of a single brain, it consists of multiple layers of a brain, machine learning, deep learning, and a generative AI. So here you can see the vision based sensors, and taste based sensors, and sound based sensors, and smell based sensors. These are all real like available sensors in the market, where one can make use of different like sensors for the different application purposes. Okay. Let's see how similarly how human intelligence works for understanding the objects and learning and relearning or training or inference or testing. So here also we have two different phases called as learning phase as well as relearning phase. During learning phase, instead of memorization, we have handcrafted features in the first point. Instead of comprehension, we have automated feature engineering. The both structure wise it looks similar, but here the only difference is handcrafted features and automated feature engineering. Here also it says as a knowledge base. Instead of we call it as a model. Instead of a knowledge base or a brain, we call it as a model. So we serialize the model during learning stage. Okay. And during testing stage or inference stage or recognition stage, we have similarly have an unknown entity, and we extract visual cues, and we use algorithm instead of decision making, and the label has been assigned to an unknown entity. So let's see the difference between the decision making of human intelligence and artificial intelligence. You can see the output here. For an unknown entity, it is giving an answer as a collection of badminton posters, but here it is giving answer as badminton. Okay, definitely there is a difference between the decision performed by a human as well as the decision performed by artificial. The only gap is, though we have trained with only the badminton posters here, the machine could able to identify only as badminton. But with the help of knowledge, and with the help of understanding of the badminton, with the help of how good the data is with the collection of different posters, we could able to arrive at a decision that it is not only a badminton, but it is also a collection of a badminton poster. So that's a gap between a human intelligence and a artificial intelligence is all about. So how do we recover it actually? How do we overcome this limitation is all about. So if you can train such kind of instances here in the during learning phase, definitely this can also be overcome during relearning stage. Okay. And we can see the major difference between handcrafted and automated feature engineering can be said as a classical machine learning based feature extraction, and here a deep learning based feature extraction. So till now, any doubts or any gaps, participants? Let me know if you have any doubts or clarification is seek. Please raise your hands or unmute yourself and you just speak on what you wanted to understand. Otherwise, I can move on to the next slide. I think the silence makes that no one has any queries, so I will be moving on to the next slide. So let me give you like brief differences and contrast and comparison between AI and HI, that is human intelligence and artificial intelligence. The major highlight is in the human intelligence is intelligent quotient is very high because human have because the AI or the designers designed by human itself. So basically, intelligent quotient is very high and energy consumption is very low because we don't require any kind of like electricity or any other renewable or non-renewable sources, right? Though we require a kind of energy, but it need not be very highly consumed, right? So that's the reason we can say it as a consumption is very low. But the limitation is efficiency is low. As you go on doing your task day by day, the efficiency will be definitely will get reduced because the kind of a work you are going to do in the morning here that cannot be like expected in the afternoon, or same thing cannot be expected in the evening, right? So the enthusiasm which you are going to listen the lecture at the time of 5:30, it need not be same as 7:30, right? Because your enthusiasm is gone down. Okay, so that's how the limitations of human intelligence comes into picture. And effort is high. Definitely you require high amount of effort. See, for example, a non-AI or non-ML teacher has to put a lot of effort to understand what is AI, right? What is ML is, or what is deep learning is, right? The effort required for human intelligence is very high. And the effectiveness is varied because as I already said that efficiency is nothing but the TAT, how quickly you complete the task. Effectiveness is how good you are going to complete the task, right? That is varied. Totally it is varied, okay? Depending on the kind of consequences or depending on the like situation, effectiveness will be varied. Similarly, when it comes to AI, efficiency is very high. Within a fraction of a second, it can complete the task depending on the application you're choosing. Effort is very low. The kind of effort, once you train a model, the retraining requires only after if it encounters any kind of a data which is getting deviated from the actual data. That's why this effort is very low. Effectiveness is constant. So as the model performs very well over a period of time, the effectiveness is totally constant. The limitations is basically it has got low intelligent quotient and energy consumption is very high. This is basically the major differences between human intelligence and artificial intelligence. So by these things, we can see what AI is then. So basically, AI can be defined as it is an automated problem solving tool. Okay, it can also be said it as automated problem solving tool, or it can also be said it as automated problem solving software. But for a data scientist or a ML engineer or a people who teaches the AI, it's considered AI as a problem solving system or a framework. Okay, it cannot be a tool for people who designs AI or people who develops AI algorithms. It cannot be a tool, it cannot be software. It's a complete system or a framework. Let me give you why I'm saying it can be system or framework for a AI developer or AI like enthusiast, and it is a tool or software for end users. Okay, so why I said it is a system or framework, because take it for an example, AI as a tool. It not only a single tool comprised of, but it can also comprise of so many interrelated subtools with the help of machine learning and a deep learning. You can see interrelated subtools. If I can wanted to give you an example, the best example is Google Lens. Okay, Google Lens is a AI tool. Okay, for you guys, for the end user, it's a tool. But for us, for AI ML experts, it cannot be said it as a tool. It's a system. AI tool is a system where it includes optical character recognition as a separate component. Okay, it uses OCR for recognizing the text. Okay, and it is able to give you the raw text. And similarly for object recognition, it uses the object detection algorithm separately, like YOLO V8, YOLO V10, right? And SSD. So as a separate algorithm for recognizing the object. Similarly for information retrieval, if you ask some questions, so it will be able to retrieve the answers, right? So that's where we call it as information retrieval. For those information retrieval, it will use a separate algorithms, separate models, right? So AI is not only a single tool, it's a framework or a system which includes several sub components or sub use cases it will be used, and that is why it is called as a framework or a system for any AI tool developer. I hope I am clear with the definition and components of AI. Any doubts till now?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. So with the completion, this will be completing the definition of AI. Basically, AI is a system or a framework. It contains various like sub ML or deep learning models, where that models will be used for prediction or for recognition or a detection purposes. Okay, and let's see why required ethics and a bias for such kind of AI. So to give you a perspective of those ethics and bias, I have one question. Okay, please do answer this. Is ethics and bias is really applicable for AI? Please unmute yourself and please do like is
Yes, it is
bias
important.
ethics is okay. Let's see with some analogy. Okay, I have used my own image. I have used my own image. I have 8 images here. Okay, I have 8 images here. I just wanted you to type it or unmute yourself and please answer me which one are human generated or which one is human generated image and which one is computer generated image. I have 8 images here. Okay, please look at clearly. Please look at clearly the image, all the 8 images. Please look at all the 8 images clearly and please, I want you answer where how many are human generated and how many are human generated, how many are human captured and how many are machine generated. Can you please unmute yourself and answer it, please?
Four
The
are
first one is the real one.
real. Second one
Okay.
is also
Image
Sorry.
1 and 4 seems to be the real one,
real one.
and
Okay. 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 How about the remaining?
AI. AI
Sorry.
generated.
Can you
Remaining are
please someone
AI generated.
unmute and someone unmute any one or two? Please answer it. How many are human generated or human captured and how many are machine generated, please?
Sir, only two are human generated.
Human
Four
captured.
and five. 4 and 5 are the original images. Rest of the six are uh,
So you mean 1, 2, 3, 6, 7,
and
8 are
6, 7 are
AI generated.
generated, and 4 and 5 maybe original.
Okay, as per, can you please mute yourself? I'm hearing my own voice. Okay. As per, please unmute yourself those who are not speaking, please. So as per one of the participants, what they said is, please unmute yourself. I think I'm hearing background noise. Hello? I'm hearing the background noise. Okay. So as per the participants responses, 4 and 5 is the original image and remaining 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8 are all the computer generated image. Let me see the answers. You can see here. Only first one is original and the rest of the all are AI generated. This is AI generated. This is AI generated. This is AI generated. This is AI generated. You can see the background AI in education and medicine. Where I given this is AI generated and this is AI generated, this is AI generated, and this is AI generated. How it is going to generate for the exam? Can anyone say how it is going to generate? Basically, what it requires actually. It requires some tool, right? It requires
yes,
some
sir.
tool, right? So in addition to tool, what it requires, in addition to tool, it requires prompt. Requires prompt. So basically, this required no prompt captured by a camera, and this is generated via prompt, and again this is generated via prompt, and this is generated via prompt, generated via prompt, again generated via prompt, generated via prompt, generated via. Let me see what are all the prompts which used to generate this prompt. Okay, the basically this is the prompt where I uploaded. I've used the same Gemini banana tool and I've used a prompt called as please add blazer to the original image. Okay, so that gives you this output. The prompt is please give me the blazered enabled image of the uploaded image. That's what I given. Subsequently what I add is I add another prompt called as please add tie in addition to the blazer. So it given me this image once I given prompt as add tie in addition to the blazer. The next prompt which I given to is I uploaded the same image. I asked it to get me the white background passport image. Okay, white background passport portrait image. I just given the prompt saying that white background passport portrait image. So with that, what it does with only a prompt, what it does means it will use this image, it will do a correction, and it will remove all the backgrounds. Okay, it will correct the like any orientation, it will fix this, it will do a translation, it will do image translation, it will keep this particular portion of the face into center, and it will remove this. Removing means segmenting the unwanted objects, and it will add these blocks and add these blocks, and it will give you this particular image. Okay, that's why it is called as AI generated. And even the AI generated image itself has got lot many AI deep learning subtools. The deep learning subtools includes segmentation and detection of the face, segmentation of the background, right? Augmentation of the additional objects. Okay, so these are all the different various deep learning sub algorithms involved inside the AI tool. Okay, and similarly, I have given this. Please get me where Trump is giving the talk on AI in education and medicine. So that's a prompt I given. It is generated like this. It is again a AI generated. And see here the mistake here. I given a prompt like please impose please impose Virat and Sachin beside me. Okay, please impose Sachin and Virat beside me. So it has mistakenly put the image of a person who doesn't really exist actually. We don't know what kind of a person is this, but I asked the prompt about Sachin Tendulkar, but it is generated like this. Okay, it's a completely false positive. And similarly, I asked it to generate the translate the background text into Hindi. Presently it is in Kannada. Okay, presently it is in Kannada. It is called as Information Processing Private Limited. Okay, and I asked it to convert into or translate it into Hindi. So see here, so it has been converted. It took an image and it does the OCR. Okay, it does the OCR. Once it does the OCR, it will get you the Kannada equivalent text, and once it gets the Kannada equivalent text, it converts it into it by using transformer. It converts it into Hindi, and convert those information by augmenting the image. Okay, again it augmented these two characters into a given image. That means AI is not only a single tool or a software for us. And also if we dig into AI, definitely you can see that it's not a single tool or it's not a single software, but for the end user it's still a software or it's still a tool. But for an expert, AI ML expert, or a one who wishes to understand what AI is, it's a kind of a system or a framework which in turn inside consists of many deep learning and machine learning algorithms. Similarly, here what I asked is by giving like this as an input, I just asked to impose or add Trump's image beside me. So that's how it has been generated, this particular image. So basically, with all this analogy, I just have another question: is ethics and bias is really applicable for AI? By looking at the analogy, I'm again asking a question: is ethics and bias really applicable for AI? Because you all know that, right? AI is basically a machine, correct? Whatever you give, it is going to generate, or whatever you give, it is going to give you the results. How you are going to do a training of the model, it is going to give you the decision with which you are going to train it. That's the reason I given you an example earlier. The difference between AI life cycle and a human intelligence life cycle. AI give you only as a badminton, but human intelligence give you posters or a collection of badminton posters. So that's the difference between AI and ML. Similarly, here is ethics and bias really applicable for AI? Please unmute yourself, and if any, I would expect any answer from you guys. So basically, like ethics and bias is not applicable for AI. Why? Because it's applicable only for a person who creates it or handles it. So based on the analogy with which we like got into in the previous slide, so we can seriously say that ethics and bias really applicable for the people or a person who handles it or creates it. So because AI is nothing but a machine, right? Machine doesn't know what ethics is or what bias is. It is one who handles that particular tool, or one who designs that particular AI tool, or one who designs the particular AI framework or a system, who has got certain ethics and bias. Okay, it need not be AI, because AI is completely a machine intelligence. It's purely a machine. It only understands zeros and ones. It only understands only encodings. Okay, it doesn't understand any kind of ethics or bias. It's only the people who handle such kind of AI and such kind of ML based tools who has to take care of such kind of ethics and bias. Okay, so with this, let's define what is AI. Let's go on what is ethics in AI, who is going to design that AI. So basically, it is responsible use of AI, ensuring. That's why I said it's not. I'm not about talking about AI ethics. It's a person or a people who handle such kind of AI has got a responsible use of that AI with the help of fairness, accountability, transparency, and a safety. Where fairness includes, it should treat, our AI machine or AI system should treat all the groups equally without any discrimination. And accountability, for that matter, humans and organizations must take care of responsibility of AI decision. Where AI is going to do any decision means the person or organization has to take the accountability, not the AI tool. Okay, not the AI machine should take an accountability. As I already said that it's humans or organization should have the responsibility for the decisions made by the AI tool. Similarly, AI decisions should also be explainable and also understandable. So whatever the decisions where AI is going to give you, and it should give you for what reason it's going to give you a decision, or for what reason it has been given that decision, whether it's a positive decision or a negative decision. For any kind of a decision, there should be some explainability and some comprehension to be given to an end user. So that's why it is called as a transparency. And in addition to the transparency, we should have a safety, because AI can also be used, as my topic is itself tells about, it's a medicine or a medical field or a education field, where in medicine field and in any transportation field, the AI decision should always be zero tolerance. So even if it is 0.0001, so no acceptable AI tool will be available in the field, especially in the field of medical, and also especially in the field of transportation, is that air transportation. Okay, these two fields majorly zero tolerance fields. There's nothing like a 0.001, or there's nothing like 99.999 kind of accuracy they will expect in medicine as well as in air transport. They will expect 100% and with zero tolerance. That's why we say that in ethics, safety also plays a major role. Let's see, move on to the bias. And the bias, we can define the bias as systematic unfairness in AI prediction. If AI is able to predict certain things, and there should be no unfairness or no systematic or no periodic like unfairness available in the decision or a predictions provided by the AI tool. So that's where we call it as a bias. And the types of bias includes data bias, algorithmic bias, or societal bias. So data bias, algorithmic by data bias is nothing but what kind of a data you are going to use, whether it is structured or unstructured, and in turn what kind of a data, like a text data or image data or a video data, right? So in those data, if you are doing any differences while doing the training, I will only give the Indian, because it's a global model I'm going to design. But if I going to feed in only Indian based data, but I'm ignoring the rest of the market or rest of the world's data, means that definitely a bias, right? I mean, predicting the face of the image, if I give you like a face of China, definitely it won't predict, right? Because we have never trained the Chinese face during our training the model of face recognition. So that's a bias, right? So because AI is not saying that it is not detecting or it's not classifying the face of a China, it's the person who trained that particular model have made that bias that he is not, he or she are not given the data where it is specifically related to China or a non-Indian data set. So this is basically a data set bias and algorithmic bias. For example, one algorithm is basically very good in identifying the face, and one algorithm is very good in identifying the iris of a face. Okay, iris present inside a face. But what I can say is iris what the people are designing the solution think is, so I don't want iris to be like a part of my solution, iris recognition part of my solution. I want only for part of face recognition. But in turn, that ultimately the business requirement is to identify both face as well as iris. So here the bias stands it, though the actual requirement is both face as well as iris, but I'm not including iris as a part of my algorithm. So that's algorithm bias. There is unfairness during the algorithm and societal bias. For example, so while during training, if I want to like classify between male and a female, or I wanted to like grade the different age of a given individuals, or whether I need to say whether a person is a disability or non-disability. So if my tool is able to do such kind of unfairness during prediction, for example, for a male dominant model, for example, male dominant model will be only predicting male face images correctly. It is not predicting the female face images correctly. Okay, that might be a wrong predictions only for a female faces, and wrong prediction for only the people above 50 age, and it will only give you correct predictions only with less than 50 age like faces. And also it might give you a good results for a non-disabled persons, and for a disabled person it might not give you a proper result. So these are all the bias happen during training any AI model. It's not a bias of AI, it's the bias of the people who had trained that particular model, where that might be because of like a wrong perception of the data population, because they might be handling with the same sample space of the data, but they might forgotten how the sampling has happened, right? The sampling should happen with a for like the sample, it cannot be random sampling, right? So the random sampling cannot is never be used during training the model. And but the kind of sampling where each population set should be a subsample, and it will be like sampled, and such kind of sampling we will be used during training. Okay. And I just given already an example. It's just an example where image classifier mislabels the darker skin tone. It's a part of like societal bias. Any doubts or any clarification?
Yes, no,
Hello?
sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Why we are
Yes, sir.
majorly, yeah, why we are majorly focusing on the healthcare and education is because it has a direct impact on the healthcare, because it is a question of life and death. Okay, it's a question of life and death, and that's why we are focusing on ethics and bias for healthcare, specifically speaking, and also in the education as well. Why? Because the today's children will be the tomorrow's leaders, right? So basically education plays a major role in becoming today's children to a tomorrow's leader. Education plays a major role. That's why we are focusing into two different aspects. And also the title of the FDP speaks on both education as well as healthcare. Why? Because healthcare is basically, it directly impacts on the life and death of human being, and education is directly like impacts on the tomorrow's leader of today's kid. Okay. So basically, with these two domain, one should have ethical responsibility higher in this domain compared to any other domain, whether it might be automobile, whether it might be banking, or whether it might be any other for domain for that matter. The ethical responsibility should be very high in these two domains. Okay. In addition to this domain, there is also ethical and bias should be also in the airway of transportation of the airway. Okay, I have missed it here because it's not part of the scope. So healthcare, education, and also in addition to these two, we should also have more ethics and unbiased towards the AI model design is transportation, that is air mode transportation. Okay. And with this, we have completed the phase one, which includes introduction to AI and introduction to AI ethics and bias. I hope uh, any questions. If any questions, I'm happy to take the questions, please.
Yeah, anybody having any question? You can raise your hand.
Okay, if no questions, let me move on to the phase two, that is bias and ethics in AI in healthcare, and also bias and ethics in education. So
Yes, yes, sir.
it includes different components here. it start from applications, source of bias, case study, and I also given specifically the case study which happened in the real time, where people have done some bias in the real-time health domain. I have given some quotes about what has happened really during that particular like design of the tool, and also implications. If you do such kind of a bias, what would be the ethical implications? What would be the ethical implications, and how do we overcome
Hello,
such kind of implications? Yeah.
sir. I am having one question.
Yes.
Uh, in previous image, as you said that you have given one prompt that your photo with Sachin Tendulkar and Virat. Okay,
Mm,
Virat Kohli.
mm.
So in that, the exact image of Sachin Tendulkar, it is not showing accurate. So
Correct.
there is a false prediction. Okay.
Yes, that's what I said.
So
False positive.
yeah, false positive. So how it can be
Yes.
corrected, and in that case, which model or algorithm is the best one, and
No, no,
which
no,
is
no. So
expected to
basically,
be?
you can tune your prompt saying that I given only Sachin, right? Sachin can be a film actor Sachin, and Sachin can be a cricketer Sachin, and Sachin can be any entrepreneur Sachin, right? So you should give
Okay.
you can fine tune your prompt saying that assume that Sachin is basically a cricketer. If you give
Okay.
the such kind of a fine tune prompt, definitely it would able to give you a Sachin, the actual Sachin image, because Sachin is much sample set of Sachin is very much higher than the sample set of Kohli available in the internet, right? Kohli, why?
Yes.
Because it's more unique, right? Kohli is more unique and more trending nowadays, right? Because it also matters with the date with which you're going to give your like model, right? So the model
Yes.
which
And
assumes that Sachin is not need not be a cricketer, it need not be a film star. So that's the reason it confused and it will given you a wrong image. Okay.
okay, means that is the problem in prompt giving. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes,
So
yes,
in, in this case, whatever the prompts that you have given, that are given from Gemini, right?
yes,
Gemini.
Gemini,
Yeah.
Gemini, yes.
Okay. Okay, sir. Please continue, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So move on to the phase two, like in each component of AI healthcare or AI education. Let's see with application source of bias, with case study, real case study, and ethical implications will happen with like bias, and also how we can mitigate these implications. Let's see with subsequent slides. Let's see with application, various applications for AI in healthcare basically is disease diagnosis on radiology or dermatology. And also one should also keep in your mind that AI is not a replacement of human, but it is a complementary tool for any AI applications. Okay, it cannot replace a human. And you can ask then what are the reason behind the people are getting fired in the IT companies. I will tell you the reason why the people are getting fired. Okay, and recently, if you can take an example of TCS, right, the 12,000 people have been fired. So why this 12,000 people have been fired? So you can think that one can assume that TCS is kind of a government. They will think that if you enter into the TCS, they will assume that it's a safer job and it's assumed to be a government job. So nowadays, and the stakeholdings of Tata, TCS is getting down, and also they analyze that why do we require a middle level manager, though they are not giving any productivity, right? Without productive, if you have more productive and if you upskill yourself in IT industry, definitely there will be no job cuttings. If you are underperforming, if you are not upskilling yourself, definitely you are a point of contact, you are a first person to be like fired in the company. And you can also ask other questions, why then Google and Amazon, though they are people who are very much good and very much competitive and very much upskilled themselves, why they are not, why they are firing them there in the particular companies? There is also another reason why they are firing, because just take an example of Amazon, right? So Amazon have fired so many people. You should understand in which domain or in which field they're fired of. Basically, right, they were introduced one like a tool called as we used to read it, right? Anyone know what kind of a tool it is? Amazon used to introduce one tool where you can read your book. Does anyone know what kind of a tool it is? You can read your book soft books you can read. If anyone knows, please unmute yourself and I can tell. I
Is
think
it
Kindle, right?
Kindle?
Kindle, exactly. So Amazon
Yes.
Kindle, where there is no growth or no progress and no development activities involved. I think you know the graph of the Amazon Kindle, right? Nobody is using currently, though it's just giving you the maintenance of the Kindle, but nobody is having actual proper research is happening. So hence the what that people or what the product or what the business or what the CEO will think is, so though there is no marketing happening, or though we are not getting any return on investments, so definitely why do we require such kind of a team, right? So they will dissolve the actual core team and they will only keep on the maintenance team or operations team, right? So that's the reason the rate of like firing the people in the IT industries have been increased. So you should think in no upskill, no job, okay, and no relevance, no job. Okay, these are the two major primary reasons why the people across industries are losing their job. But if you are relevant to the industry, definitely they will keep you, and if you are very much upskilled yourself, definitely they will keep you. Okay, so these are the major things one has to understand if you wanted to switch into IT industry. So let's come back to the actual topic of today's session is as I was mentioning about disease diagnosis. It's basically a AI supplementary tool for diagnosing the diseases, basically whether it might be into radiology or whether it might be dermatology or whether it might be gynecology, any for that matter, any generic field for that matter. I given only 2 years. And for also for risk prediction, the chronic illness or readmissions, what might be the chances you're going to like get to the similar kind of a diseases in future, and what kind of a chronic illness with the current symptoms, what kind of chronic illness you're going to get you. So this is just a predictions, and it should also be reviewed by the actual doctor. It cannot, you cannot consider it as 100% like results or decision from the particular tool. It should also reviewed by the human. Okay, and also treatment recommendations with these symptoms. What would be the recommendation? Basically, you yourself have become a doctor nowadays, right? With the help of Google, if you have any symptoms, you just try to Google in yourself and you just try to get the like recommendation. That's how the treatment recommendation is all about. But don't ever do such kind of recommendations given by the Google. So please don't do such kind of treatment by yourself. Please consult a doctor. AI is just a tool. Even I'm reiterating that it's just a tool for supplementing the existing manual treatments or any kind of available process. Similarly, for admin related workflow automation, like for example, starting from the admission process till the discharge process, if they wanted to like make use of the AI, in that case also one can use the AI. So these are all the basic fundamental usage of AI in the healthcare domain. Okay, let's see the bias source in the field of healthcare. The bias can be a data bias, algorithmic bias, or a historical bias and a measurement bias. Let's see one by one about data bias, algorithmic bias, historical bias, and a measurement bias. So as I already mentioned, data bias can be like when training the data does not represent the true diversity of patients. Diversity means the population space, right? For example, as I was already mentioning that if you are training a model for cancer detection, right? For cancer detection, mostly on images light skin patients and put in dark skin patients. If you do a model training, basically it can clearly discriminate between light skin patients and the dark skin patients for diagnosing the critical skin cancer. Okay, so in that scenario, if you are able to miss any one of the data samples, definitely it might lead you a true positive. Okay, so that's the reason one would suggest don't do random sampling, go with the stratified sampling. So stratified sampling will help you out in equally distribute the samples across the different classes of the given population space. Okay, this is where if you're not following any kind of stratified sampling, you will be end up in going with the data bias. Okay, let's see the what would be the implications in subsequent slide with the data bias or any other bias. Second bias would be the algorithmic bias, where the bias introduced by the model design, feature selection, or a training process. Okay, if you are not able to, as I already mentioned, if you're not able to select the proper model, or if you're not able to select the proper feature selection or any training process, definitely it will end up in resulting with the algorithmic bias. It's just an example if I can give you. A system predicting hospital readmission risk uses insurance claim data. Because wealthier patients have more detailed claims, the algorithm systematically underestimates risks for low income and uninsured patients. Okay, this cannot be done. Okay, because basis on the like income, where wealthier people can easily say that the readmission process. So even if you not consider the people who has got a lower income, so if you consider or if you do such kind of algorithm where it considers only with people or a number, it's just a number, right? For algorithm, it's just a number which is greater than certain amount of certain threshold. It only considers that particular patient, means that's definitely it will be bias, right? So that kind of bias cannot happen. Let's see the implications of those bias as well in subsequent slides. And the next bias is historical bias, and basically this bias inherited from the long-standing systematic inequalities or discrimination encoded in past data. Okay, the any discrimination encoded basis on the past data. The past data is nothing but the past clinical data given by the patient. Okay, for example, an AI hiring AI used is healthcare recruitment learn from historical HR data. Since historically women and minority doctors were underrepresented in leadership roles, the AI continues to recommend more male candidates for a senior position. So it is just an example where historically it is understood that the data that male people are more dominated and given more recommendation or more given higher positions than female. I think you also aware of that, right? In any medical doctoral domain, the male people are given more superior than the female. So basically AI also, if it want to recommend or if it want to give you any recommendation, definitely based on the historical data, it will give you such kind of a bias, but that should not happen basically. And basically this not basically this decision whatever the AI is given, it represents the evolution of human made mistakes, right? Because AI is only analyzing the data based on the historical patterns. Okay, if it is analyzing the data based on the historical patterns, it sees that only male people are given more higher promotions and male people are given higher recommendation than female people. Here the problem is not in a given single day, okay, it's not even a given single, but in earlier cases it is only at the time of a training. But here in this historical bias, it's not a single day bias, okay, it has happened over a period of time, right? It has happened over a period of time. This implications a lot. This is very much implication compared to any other two biases, okay. And let's see the measurement bias. The measurement bias happens when variables used as proxies don't accurately measure the real outcome of the interest. So, for example, if the well-known Optum algorithm, it's just a case study I've given here. Optum algorithm used healthcare cost as a proxy for health needs because black patients historically spent less on healthcare due to access barriers. The algorithm underestimated their medical needs compared to white patients. Okay, proxies means it is replacing or it is saying that it is available, though it is not available. That's called as a proxy. For example, your students will do a proxy, right? Though they not came to the class, the proxy will be coming in their names by other people. For example, similarly, even though black patients are not available, then it says that the disease has been spread with the black patient. So that is what we call as a proxy. And that proxy basically happened in the measurement bias. And if I can give you a real case study which has happened in the 2019, the goal is to predict, our objective is to predict the patients needing extra care, whether they need extra care or not. The flaw is use healthcare spending as a proxy. As I already said, measurement bias, this is a measurement bias. They underestimated the black patients. The impact is reinforced racial disparities. Okay, they even in the real time, you can see the reinforced racial disparities happened in the year 2000. It's not even a last decade or 90s. It's still happening in the 2020s, where the Aptom algorithm failed to do the prediction which requires extra care, and that has happened basically with the measurement bias. Okay. This is one of the case studies for the bias towards measurement. And let's see one more case study where IBM Watson for oncology. The major thing is the solution is promised AI-driven treatment suggestion. It is helpful for suggesting the treatments. The problem is poor recommendation. The particular tool is recommendations is very poor. The reason why is it is flawed training data. It's not having a proper training data. That's the reason it is giving you poor recommendation. What is the lesson we learned is AI cannot replace clinical judgment blindly. This statement is very important. AI cannot replace clinical judgment blindly until unless it covers entire population of the data. Entire population of the data definitely never It cannot be like used entire population, because population is entire each and individual corner of your like data. Each and individual corner of your data cannot give it, right? Because in a healthcare specifically speaking, yeah, the people in India, their behavior and their food style is completely different from the people who are living in Japan, right? And the people who are living in Japan, their lifestyle is completely different from the people who are living in China. And the people who are living in China is completely different from the people who are living in USA, right? So covering all these global various demographies plays a major role, right? That's why one cannot generalize the solution. It's only a specific solution for a specific application, right? So if you are doing to generalize the AI tool, then this kind of a problem will arise. There is poor recommendations. The implications of these bias or ethical implication of this bias would be discrimination in care access, trust erosion in AI-driven medicine, because nobody will trust this AI tool, and worsening health disparities. Disparities in this domain will be very much worsened. And the mitigation, how do we overcome such kind of implication, is diverse data, use of diverse data sets. I already mentioned use of diverse data sets, and fairness aware ML algorithm, use of fairness aware ML algorithm, and use of explainable AI for better understandability, and bias audits and regulations. So you should always have the audit and also the regulatory components for the bias which the AI model is going to do a prediction. So these are the mitigation strategies. I hope I have covered AI in healthcare. If any questions, I'm happy to take
Yes,
so
sir.
that I can
Yes.
move forward to the education. Yeah. Okay. Similar to AI in healthcare also covers with application, source of bias, case study, and ethical implications and mitigations here as well. Let's see the different applications of AI in education field. But I have taken only the major application. There are a lot many education applications, but predominantly I've taken consider automated grading. So grading the students like evaluation, post evaluation of any like examinations. So if you're able to use AI tool for doing the grading, so that is one of the automation that is called as automated AI grading. Adaptive learning platforms, like if you are using any AI online tools, so basis on which the person's comprehension capability, right? For example, if a person is very much poor in understanding AI, or if a person is very much poor in understanding the data science, if a person is very much poor in understanding the linear algebra, or if a person is very much poor in understanding mathematics, right? So in that case, there will be a too much caution to be taken and too much illustrative example to be given on the particular individual, and a person who understands very easily, then in that case the AI tool should recommend or should give you a guidance that in abstract way or in an overview way that he can easily understand. He himself or herself can able to understand, able to generate the illustration by themselves, right? That's where adaptive learning platform plays a major role. And student success prediction, whether basis on which the historical data, so what might be the success rate of the particular student or individual, right? These are all the different applications of AI in the education field. And also AI based proctoring. Proctoring means monitoring. For example, if anyone wants to take an examination in isolated room online, so the proctoring means that AI tool able to understand what is the background and in which place and which demography, in which geographical location he has been seated for writing an examination, right? Whether he is doing any like mysterious jobs of copying, using any copy cheats, right? So the such kind of a monitoring kind of a job also AI tool can be a supplementary tool. Okay, these are all the different applications used for AI in the field of education. So the source of bias in education field would be the three things. One is socio-economic or cultural bias. Other one is language bias, and one more is accessibility bias. Let's see one by one all these three biases. Let's move on to the first bias called a socio-economic and cultural bias. So basically, this happens when AI model reflects inequalities with respect to wealth, class, or cultural norms. For example, if people who has got a very who is coming from a wealthier or very wealthier background, and with a very like a people with very much similar kind of a culture. So in that case, AI should not give more importance. People, I think, I know human people will do such kind of like inequality if it considers wealth. Or I'm not saying about the current MGM college. I'm talking in general. Such kind of discrimination will happen Okay, the same if discrimination, like for example, an AI used in college admissions may weigh extracurricular activities like expensive sports more heavily. Students from low income families who could not afford such activities get unfairly disadvantaged, right? So such kind of admissions, extracurricular activities cannot be like generalized, right? It's only a specific because low income people cannot afford such kind of extracurricular activities. Similarly, online learning platforms may recommend advanced resources more often to students in wealthier schools rather than for giving entire population of people in mind. Okay, this is also social, economic, cultural bias where in which it is happened due to the kind of a data with which we are going to train a model. Similarly, language bias when AI favors certain language or certain dialects or certain accents over the others. It basically happens. It even I'm reiterating it cannot be biased, language biased only by the AI. It's the people who have trained a particular model where I'm going to do a translation. I'm going to create a translation tutor. I'm going to create a tutor for an individual student, and that tutor will convert English into their regional language. Okay, but if you are able to do translation only with respect to English to Marathi or English to Hindi, then definitely nobody will admit into a college because you are only concentrating only on to the people of Maharashtra, right? But if you could able to cover entire population or entire language in India, definitely you would able to introduce all the languages which converts in English into the regional languages. So that would be another bias where if you are able to do a training of a model specifically for a tutor which translates one language to other language, you should also careful enough to consider this kind of a language bias. Okay. And accessibility bias. The other bias is when AI tools are not designed for students with disability or accessibility needs. So I already given one kind of example where proctoring tools or any kind of a tool, a tutor where it only concentrates on people who are very much normal. But if a people who is not that speed in understanding the contents which is being delivered by the teacher, then definitely it requires clear and clear cut explanation, and it requires very slow pace explanation of the given content, right? So that is also a kind of a bias where people with disabilities or accessibility needs should require, if you are able to do design a model or design any kind of assistance based tool for a kid, you should also consider this accessibility things in your mind. Okay, let's give a real-time case study where it has been a scam of with the UKA level algorithm which has been proposed in the year 2020. And because of the algorithm usage what they developed UKA level algorithm, the outcome is exam has been postponed or even it has been cancelled. The problem is it favored elite schools and downgraded the public school students. So during the process of this automated AI tool called as UK level algorithm, the implication is the exams are getting cancelled. And why? What is the reason behind cancelling it? Is it favored only elite schools students and downgraded the public school students. The outcome is the protest and grades have been scrapped. Okay, so this one of the real time case study happened with the use of AI tool, and that have happened in the year 2020. Another case study is AI proctoring, AI monitoring bias, where AI failed to detect dark skinned students because it has been trained only on the fair skinned students and flagged suspicious behavior unfairly. The impact is psychological stress and unfair penalties. So with this bias towards the skinned, definitely there will be a psychological stress and unfair penalties of an individual, right? It will impact on a person who are with a darker skin. Definitely it will have an impact, psychological impact, right? So that's the reason where you should be very careful in choosing or when designing a model, and it should have both ethical as well as bias implications. We should overcome such bias and ethical implications only with unequal educational opportunities, psychological harm to students, lack of transparency in grading. These are all the implications which will happen in education. The mitigation would be, you should always, you have to be add any kind of a teacher or a tutor before giving any kind of final grades to the individual. That's why it is called the human in the loop grading. So once the AI is being given graded you based on the like marks or evaluation performed over a period of time. So the final decision will always be in the hand of human. Okay, that's the reason it's called as human in the loop. Transparent scoring systems. The scoring should not be hidden. It should always be transparent. It should be finally evaluated by the human only. And inclusive decision. The decision cannot be given only to the AI tool. It should be inclusive of both human as well as the AI and policy oversight. It cannot any policy cannot be oversight by the AI. Should always be reviewed by the human. So these are all the mitigation strategies of the AI if you are using AI tools in education. Okay, I think I have completed the phase one and phase two, and I've taken correct times. I mean, I have used proper time, and it's almost 8:45
Yes,
now.
sir. Yes, sir.
For the last
Yeah.
15 minutes, I'll be covering common AI principles, governance and regulations, future challenges, summary, reflection, and QA. So with all these examples, so what we can understand is one should follow AI principles whenever they are developing any kind of a tools or any kind of a framework or any kind of a systems which is supportive of AI. One should have a fairness, accountability, transparency, and ethics. One should always follow these four, and it is called as a fate. With fairness, it should have no discrimination, and with accountability, the person who designs the particular tool or software or framework as should be a responsible person if anything goes wrong. And transparency means any decision made by a tool should be transparent, and that what kind of a decision it is taking, that decision should say for what reason it has been made it. Okay, without no, it cannot be a black box. The decision cannot be a black box. The decision should always be supported by for what reason it has been done. Okay, that's what we call it the transparency. And ethics is nothing but aligned with human values. As I already mentioned that ethics is always having a human values. It should not go beyond the human values. Okay, because it's basically designed for the real-time applications. This fate, you can also refer a paper which has been published on the review of this AI principles with the help of fate. I have already given here, okay, in the link. You can refer this as well. And basically the governance for these AI principles and educate for healthcare, we have a lot of governance while designing these AI tools. We have to we have to comply with IPA, EU, AI Act, WHO guidelines. Okay, in case of a healthcare, definitely even for us, if you're handling with healthcare or medicinal domain, we have to undergo AI before designing any AI tool. We have to undergo IPA training and EU AI Act and also WHO guidelines. And if anyone has to wanted to design any AI based tool, one has to undergo FERPA and UNESCO AI guidelines, which we are designed, and that guidelines includes all those FATE principles and FATE guidelines. Okay, that is fairness, accountability, transparency, and ethical guidelines. Okay, and the challenge would be balancing innovation with protection. The more challenge is nothing but because the people who are going to design a model need not aware of these ethical and bias principles, right? This IPA you may not understand, and this FERPA you may not understand. UNESCO AI guideline, definitely no one knows. Pure data scientist or pure ML engineer doesn't know about IPA. Pure data scientist doesn't know about FERPA, right? That's the reason in any AI industry, one has to undergo mandatory trainings before enrolling or before getting into the actual development of any model. Depending on the domain which he or she has been put into, he has to undergo EPA training. If he is into healthcare domain, he has to undergo EPA training before getting into the education. That's a mandatory, and also it has been evaluated with 100 or 200 marks. Okay, if one is successfully completed that particular training, then only he or she would be able to go for a next subsequent development activities. Okay, and the best example for a global governance in education is in healthcare and education is FDA, WHO, EU AI Act, as I already mentioned, and UNESCO AI in education principles. The future challenges in AI ethics is the generative AI risk, as I already mentioned in the beginning. So currently, the trends in the across industries is use of generative AI. Okay, the risk of generative AI is too much. Okay, because that might use the PII information. One should not use any personal identity information at the time of doing any prediction or at the time of any generation. That would be another risk where with the use of generative AI and intersectional bias. Intersectional bias again, in one region I have certain limitations of using. I have some regulatory things in one particular region called India, and if in Singapore there will be different regulatories or different demographies. If you are able to do a global model, then definitely there will be a bias of intersection and continuous monitoring. Okay, it cannot be left behind once you deploy the model. It cannot be left behind. It should always be continuously monitored, so it cannot cross any kind of a fate principle which you already discussed. Okay, that's the reason it requires continuous monitoring. These are all the major future challenges in AI ethics. And to summarize our today's topic, we have gone through like bias, AI bias. Before that AI bias, we also gone through like introduction to AI and what would be the like different algorithms involved in AI. I would be machine learning, deep learning, generative AI, and also how do we define AI and how do we differentiate between human intelligence and machine intelligence, specifically speaking, and what are all the different like ethics and what are all the like coverage of ethics and bias, and also the mitigations and implications of bias and ethics in both education as well as like healthcare. And also finally we also gone into governance for crucial for trust. So with this, I will be completing the today's session, and I just wanted to have a reflection from your end. So these are the three questions I would like to ask you. So please promptly reply. The first question is, would you trust AI doctor? I need an answer from you. As a part of a reflection of this talk, I just wanted to base this on which the content which I have delivered today. So these are all the three questions I wanted to reflect as a part of a reflection from you on a better understanding of today's session. So would you really recommend or would you really trust an AI doctor? I need a prompt answer. And similarly, would you
No.
accept AI grading exams? Yeah, would you accept AI grading exams and write down one ethical principle you would enforce? If you say yes, please write down any one ethical principle you would enforce.
I
I hope you
think
can type
grading
it.
exams could be
Yeah.
accepted to certain extent done by
Mhm.
AI, but
Yeah.
accepting AI doctor is an issue or could be an issue.
Yes. So if that is the case, can you please write down any ethical principle you would enforce, ma'am? What kind of ethical principle would you enforce when it comes to AI grading exams?
Grading exam. Okay, sir.
Yeah. You just tell me what are the ethical principle you would, whether it is a fate, whether it's a fairness or accountability or transparency or ethics, which kind of principle you would enforce if you're able to accept AI grading exams as a tool. Okay, you can answer in the part of like submission of an assignment of the FDP. So with this, it's open for Q&A. I think I've taken proper time. I'm completed with
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
yeah.
Yes, sir. So, dear participant, the floor is open for you. Please drop your question. If you want to ask any question, please raise your hand and unmute yourself.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I just want to know that whether we can trust to AI doctor, but how much percentage we can see, how much percentage we can trust.
Yeah, that's the reason I was saying, right? AI cannot replace complete doctor. It is just a supplementary tool. I just wanted to ask that question. Why? Because to get the reflection of yours, right? Though we had given a session on AI education and AI healthcare. So basis on which the content which has been delivered for a period of 90 minutes, I wanted to understand your perspective as well, right? So whether it is acceptable or not. If it is acceptable, what is what are the principle or ethical principle cannot have a generic capability of understanding each individual patient. Even though if you do that, it becomes you know the concept of homeopathy, right? Homeopathy is a kind where they will enforce it cannot be a natural medicine. Homeopathy, I'm sorry about if you are trusting about homeopathy, but if you're non-trusting of homeopathy, it's a kind of a replicating similar medicine for one particular. If I have a medicine, I have given a medicine to one kind of a disease, and that disease may not, or that disease can be cured with that particular medicine, and the same medicine cannot be used to curing the other variety of medicine or other variety of diseases, right? Even each and individual is varied. For that matter, I'm saying each and individual is varied, and it cannot be like applicable for same medicine cannot be applicable for each and individuals. So that's what my perspective is all about.
And sir, I have seen one video in
Yeah.
which it is said that 100% AI operated hospital is started in China.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes,
So
I'm able to hear you. Yeah.
and it is working better than human, and its accuracy is also more than human. It is shown in that particular video, which is available on YouTube.
Definitely it cannot. Definitely it cannot be. It's just a AI supported hospital. It's not AI hospital. It cannot be AI hospital for that matter. And also for that matter, there will be a level of AI being used, right? For example, any kind of a treatment. For example, if any like a curable treatment, curable symptoms, right? If any curable symptoms, and basically it doesn't have any implications for that matter, any like internal implications for that matter. If it is any external wound, okay, if it is any external wound, for that reason they can easily, or they can use completely AI automated doctors. But it cannot be if you have any implications in that scenario. Definitely there will no 100% AI doctors can be used. Actually, if you go there and you can study, then only you will understand what actually they are using it.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sir, can I ask a question?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Sir, we are talking about AI in healthcare. Are there
Yes.
any government rules or regulations in place for
Yes.
such kind of associations? I mean,
Yes,
in
yeah,
terms of your ethics also would be involved, data privacy, data
yes. That's what
security
I
will
was
also be
mentioning,
involved.
right? HIPAA is
Huh.
a one kind of a AI regulations one has to follow before designing any AI tools. Actually.
No, sir, I'm asking if there is anything in place in India. Because in
Yes,
US, there are a couple of rules and regulations. But
yes.
India, I don't know any body which takes care of all this.
No. I know. In India, we don't have any kind of a body, but individually, strictly speaking, one has to undergo, because that's a generic regulation. What they have imposed is one has to follow IPA and other principles if you are designing any kind of AI based tool. But when it comes to India, the Indian Medical Association, right? Whatever we have, right? IMA. So they have certain individual internal like regulatories, but that regulatories is not currently still imposed on AI. But if one has to like design for the purpose of education, then definitely they has to undergo the IMA principles and regulations.
Okay, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Sir, as you said that AI in healthcare is not a trusted entity, but in US and other parts of the world, we are having live implemented AI assisted doctors like Doctronics and all.
Definitely.
So
I said
can you just put a
assisted, right?
glance on it? Yeah,
Definitely. Thank you.
yeah,
Yeah. I said
thank you, sir.
I'm not preferring with complete AI solution. Seriously reiterating again. I was reiterated so many times that AI can be only supplementary tool. You also said that it's AI assisted surgery, right? AI assisted solution. It cannot be AI done
Yeah,
solution or
assisted
AI
sir.
done surgery, right? It cannot be completely replacing the doctor. It is just a AI assisted surgery. So it says that it's a supplementary tool for a doctor. It cannot be a completely replacement of the doctor. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. So with this, I think I hope clarified all doubts. So again, I'm reiterating that I have completed with on time, and also I'm very much thankful to the organizers of this like ATAL FDP online, where they have come up with the main theme of AI in action, transforming healthcare and education. So if any opportunities in future, if I can get, I'm very happy to be part of your association. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Vinay Kumar sir. Thank you for your session and thank you for your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Dear participant, thank you. See you tomorrow. Yeah. Rajulka madam, are you there? Okay. Okay, see you.
Shall we conclude, madam?
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes. Hello,
Okay, so
Bhageshri.
Yes, madam.
Hello. So session was nice.
Thank you, ma'am.
So we will
Okay,
continue in
Thank you,
tomorrow
ma'am.
session.
Attendance.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yes. See you all tomorrow.
Yeah.
okay.
Ma'am, feedback link you have not shared.
Yes, yes, I'll share you. Wait. Yeah, it's shared.